Welcome to Introduction to Apologetics. This is Unit 1. My name is Aaron Champ. I'm going to be your instructor for this course. I'm very excited that you are registered for this course. I am anticipating that this semester will be a great time of growth for you, and I am praying that God will be working through the investment of your time here to grow you as a scholar, as an apologist, and as a Christian leader in whatever context you are serving in. This week in Unit 1, we are going to be starting with the beginning of your textbook, which is Introduction to Apologetics by Allen and Chatraw. In this first week, we're going to be starting with what is the key text for Christian apologetics found in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. Peter says, "But in your hearts regard Christ the Lord as holy, ready at any time to give a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you." This word that Peter uses for defense is the Greek word apologia, which is where we get the English word apologetics. This has been considered to be one of the main, if not the main, key foundational text for the practice of Christian apologetics. We're going to be looking at that text this week in our reading and assignments, as well as looking at 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 1 through 5, which has been countered as a caution against Christian apologetics. We're going to be looking at both of these verses and how we should be thinking about them as we enter into the project of becoming Christian apologists. And so as we read the introduction and chapter 1 of the text, we'll be beginning to lay the foundations for Christian apologetics. And that's the word that your textbook uses because we're thinking about this in terms of building a house throughout the semester. And so for the first part of the semester, we're going to be doing what you do whenever you start to build a home, which is laying the foundation. And for us, the foundation for Christian apologetics is the biblical foundations, what the Bible has to say about providing answers and defenses, how we see apologetics being practiced in Scripture, and then what it has to say for us today. And the second part of that foundation is looking at apologetics in history, seeing how Christianity has been challenged, what objections have been raised, and how theologians, philosophers, and apologists through the centuries have responded to each one of those challenges. Your assignments for this week are to read the introduction and chapter 1 to your textbook, Introduction to, Apologetics at the Cross. This will be the only week that you have to read more than one chapter. After this, it'll only be one chapter a week. So go ahead and read the introduction and chapter 1. Make sure you don't fall behind. This week, you'll also have a quiz. You can expect to have quizzes every week based upon your reading. If you guys do the reading, you should have no problem passing the quiz. This week, you will also have a discussion board where you will simply be introducing yourself, giving a personal introduction to me and to your fellow classmates. And so make sure that you read the instructions for that and do it promptly. This section is really important because, as I said, we are laying the foundation for Christian apologetics, but what we are learning, which is really at the heart of this class and textbook, is that it is not just the message that we share in Christian apologetics that is important, but it is also the manner and the method in which we share that message that is essential to the task of effective apologetics in our context. And so what I hope for you guys in this first week is that you become more confident in Christian apologetics, more confident in the reasons and defenses that we have for the Christian faith, and that your manner and method would become to be shaped by the gospel of Jesus Christ. As the quote from Os Guinness says in your textbook, "True to the cross of Christ, Christian persuasion has to be a cross shaped in its manner, just as it is cross-centered in its message." And so I hope that your message does become more cross-shaped and cross-centered in Unit 1 and in this course, that you grow closer to Jesus throughout this course, and that you would be discipled to love God with all of your mind as we continue in Introduction to Apologetics, and that through the spiritual growth and intellectual growth that happens in your life over the course of this semester, that would have fruit produced in whatever ministry context you're serving in. I'm excited for us to begin. Let's jump into this.